Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gregory, and this is Accounting 614 Accounting Research. I want to go over very carefully Topic 4 assignment because there's a lot of moving parts in it. Now, the reason why we're doing this is to learn how to analyze the results of a publicly traded company and to get you a little bit familiar with researching within the SEC 10K report. So the first thing I want you to do is locate a company that files its reports with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. I provided a Accessing EDGAR video on how to identify a company and its SEC Form 10K report. Now, what's required is your company must sell a product, not a service, but a product, and must have inventory on its balance sheet. So make sure that you are using a company that meets that requirement. Now, there are three parts to this. Part one is a summarization of the company itself. Tell me about the company. Part two, you're going to perform financial analysis on an Excel spreadsheet. And part three, you're going to go back and create another Word document to analyze the strengths and the weaknesses of the company. So there's going to be three files you're going to upload. Now, in your part one Word document, you must address the following at a minimum. You can put more in, but you must have these elements, and it must be a minimum of one full page. You can go longer than that. If you go shorter, you have to make sure that everything is listed in that one page. So what is the business? What does this business sell as its product? Identify at least two competitors and why they are competitors to your company. What are the geographical areas that it uses to conduct business? Now, we have a lot of global companies, but I don't want you to say this is a globally recognized company or this company has products all over the world. You're going to have to be much more specific than that. Discuss cyclicality in its product sales. And what is cyclicality? Well, the easy way to say is, does your company go with cycles such as seasonal cycles, holiday cycles, or is there no cyclical process? They just sell the products all year long. And include any other items that you feel is relevant to the business or to the industry. For example, what has occurred in the industry, such as new competitors coming in, maybe new products being offered, maybe some legal or regulatory issues. Those should all be in your SEC 10K. So once you identify your company, take a moment and read the SEC 10K report. Part two is an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to have to create an Excel spreadsheet for me. There are multiple calculations you're going to be performing. So you'll want an individual tab or workbook tab in that file for horizontal analysis, vertical analysis, liquidity, solvency, and profitability ratios. Now, remember, you need 3 years worth of data. Now, your SEC 10K report that you pull for the current one, and it's got to be the annual report, not a quarterly report. The annual report, the annual audited SEC 10K. So that report might only have 2 years worth of data reported on it. So you may have to go and find the prior SEC 10K report in order to have all 3 years. Now, you'll also have to add at the end a tab for your competitor company. And that competitor company will have to include 4 of those ratios you calculated for your main company. So this is the long part of the assignment. You need 3 years worth of data. You'll need it for income statements and balance sheets for both the horizontal and the vertical analysis. You need to calculate the results for prior 3 years using at least 3 liquidity ratios, 3 solvency ratios, and 3 profitability ratios. And then again, you'll locate a competitor that's involved in the same business, and you'll provide an analysis of the competitor's ratios using at least 4 of the ratios that you're calculating above. Then you're going to have to reflect upon that and say, what do these ratios tell you? And is the company that you've chosen performing better or worse than the competition you called out based upon these ratios? So a lot of work in this area. A little bit more about your Excel. You must embed the calculations on your spreadsheet. You can't give me the hard number results. So as we see in this example, we add up all of the amounts to create that $135. When I click on that sum, I need to see this formula embedded in order for you to get credit. Make sure that each tab is labeled clearly. You cannot use what has been provided by the SEC. What we want to find out is, do you understand how to create an Excel spreadsheet? And this is a very simple Excel spreadsheet. Make sure that you include the formula in your ratio analysis. For example, if you are using the current ratio as one of your liquidity ratios, you're going to say ratio number 1 is the current ratio. Current ratio equals, and give me the formula. Current assets divided by current liabilities, so that I know what ratio you are calculating. Remember, if I can't understand what you are doing, I can't give you a grade. It's very important that you understand that. So be as clear and well articulated. Label all of your columns, label your rows. Make sure that if you handed it off to somebody else, they would be able to understand what you've put together. Now, part 3, the second Word document. This needs to be probably 2 pages. If you double space, it'll be 2 pages. You'll want at least 3 to 5 paragraphs on this. So use the data that you gathered. Identify and analyze the financial strengths and weaknesses of your company and your competitor's company. So you're going to do a compare and contrast of these companies. For example, why have the ratios increased or decreased? Go beyond saying the number in 2020 was X, the number in 2021 is Y. That doesn't tell me anything. You're going to have to tell me why. What happened, meaning you have to go back and look at the SEC 10K report to get an idea. You might also go to the shareholders report that's at the company website and provide some background to tell us what happened in the last year. Did they meet their goals? Did they exceed their goals? Did they fall short of their goals, and why? And look at the accounts used in the ratio analysis to explain what the relationships are going on. For example, if the company is in a financial situation where it's got a less than 1 current ratio, explain how you came to that. For example, we can see the current assets are less than current liabilities, which makes this a less than 1 ratio. And what happens when a ratio is at less than 1? Now, you must also include in this 2 pages, that's why you're probably going to go to 2 pages, a small graph or chart. Do not make your graph or chart the entire page, please, in order to say I met my 2 pages. Put it on a 3rd page and use that chart or graph to compare and contrast to illustrate the ratios of your company and your competitor company. As always, this assignment requires 2 academic sources. Review the rubric to ensure that you've met all of the criteria. Submit this through Lopeswrite. Follow APA 7th edition formatting for full credit. Review your work for grammar and writing issues, including those pesky long paragraphs before submitting. Include references in both the Excel document and the Word documents. So have a list of references. You can just type the reference at the bottom of the Excel spreadsheet. And see my prior feedback for continuous improvement. Now, here on the Excel spreadsheet, you can just type reference, and you're going to reference the SEC 10K reports that you are pulling this data from. So just type it right in here on one of the cells. That'll be just fine. If you have any questions, please post the class questions. Send me a Halo message, or you can make an appointment with me through Calendly. Remember, our class ends on the last day, which is the 9th. Please do not submit after that. I have to have grades in fairly quickly for this class. So please do your best to get this done by the 9th. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the classroom.